What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday episode of Flippin Bats, and we got a fun one for you heading into the weekend. Making a statement. I'm going to get a couple bold statements and tell you if they're accurate or inaccurate. One up, one down. Whether one team's doing really well, one team's doing really bad. We got things that make you go, We got a lot to talk about today. Let's get to it.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone! Home run! And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
That is going to be something I like doing all year long. Things that make you go, Yep, I'm going to like that a lot. Maybe a little bit too much, but we're going to do that today. There were quite a few things around the league that really had me scratching my head. Some for good, some for bad, but they were crazy. We'll talk about all those in a little while. And at the end, a new Babe Ruth bat sale update.
Crazy.
Oh, my God, insane. So this is going to be fun. We have a lot to talk about. I'm wearing a shirt, Alex. It's a Miguel Cabrera shirt. And the reason I wore that, because on Thursday, Miguel Cabrera, here it is.
There you go.
On Thursday, Miguel Cabrera made his final home opener for the Detroit Tigers. He's retiring. This is his last year. Got an RBI single in that game. Just like, it's kind of sad. It feels like it kind of feels like the Pujols thing moving on now. Now Miggy's moving on, and he's doing his farewell tour. But that one on Thursday hit a little closer to home. The stands were packed at Comerica. He came out. He threw out the first pitch. They brought Lindstrom, Calvin Johnson, Ben Wallace all came out to throw out the first pitch, and then they called out Miggy to throw out the first pitch with them. All Detroit legends from this was great. Went out to throw out the first pitch with them, and just it's gonna be. It's sad, It's like happy but sad. I'm gonna miss it. I spent a lot of my childhood going to games at Comerica Park and watching Miggy. And then playing with him on the same team. We were in the same dugout together. I pinch ran for him in a spring training game. That's why I'm rocking the Miggy shirt today.
I think it's pretty special though when you have an athlete of his level and his caliber and who has made such an impact in the game of baseball.
Yeah,
that's able to say, "This is my final year." And you kind of get that curtain call at every stadium and every series that you go through. Because you don't always get that as an athlete.
You usually don't.
No.
Look, how many people get to choose when they go out? The elite of the elites, the Hall of Famers. By the end, the game humbles everybody, no matter what sport you're playing.
Yes.
I played baseball until I was like 27 years old. I played baseball to a level that 99.999% of people don't get to, but in the end, I end up disappointed. I didn't make it to the highest level. The game humbled me at a certain point. The game humbles everybody except for the elites of the elites that can say, I'm going out on my time. And Miguel Cabrera gets to do that, and that's pretty special.
It is. And you got to, as a fan, now that he's going to be playing every single team in Major League Baseball in his final season, this is special because every fan from every fan base will get to see him play.
Yep.
So that's great.
Good point.
That's
a good year for it to happen.
It's a good year to go out.
Yep. All right, making a statement.
Yes.
I don't know what these are.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a bold statement.
Okay.
And you either agree with me or you don't. And again, these aren't my statements.
No, you said agree with you or
okay,
not. So I'm coming for you, Curry.
Okay, come at me, bro.
Right.
Come at me. Okay. Our first statement. The Dodgers have the National League Rookie of the Year on their roster.
Well, Alex, you're wrong. No, I just say this because they have a couple of guys that have been really good. I'm just, as you know, the driver of the Corbin Carroll bandwagon, and that wagon is already moving faster than it was to start the year. He's been great. He stole 3 bases in a game the other day. He hit a homer. Like, the guy does it all, as I've been clamoring on about for probably too long. Jordan Walker hit his first homer the other day. I just think Kodai Senga looks like a star. Like, I just think there's too many other names right now that are probably the favorites to win, and I just don't foresee that happening. So I will say that one is an inaccurate statement.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Vegas has him as the 4th best odds in this moment. But, yeah,
okay.
I would have, I think Kodai Senga is my sneaky favorite in this top 3. I know you're the driver of the Corbin Carroll bus, but Time will tell.
Well,
Time will tell.
It's not a bus, Alex. I didn't claim it as it's a bandwagon.
Bandwagon.
I'm not a driver.
What's the difference between a bus and a bandwagon?
Well, a bus, you need you need a certain license to drive, and I don't have it. So I can drive around a bandwagon, and I'm driving the Corbin Carroll bandwagon.
All right, let's get to our second making a statement. Okay?
Okay.
The Marlins have the best pitching staff in the NL East.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think about this. Sandy, it's
Yeah.
a good start.
Yep.
Jesus Luzardo appears to this year have turned a corner. I'm gonna say inaccurate, but I think, in like 2-3 years, I think the writing is on the wall for this team to have the best rotation in the game of baseball in a couple of years. I just think right now, like Jesus Luzardo has been lights out, and the guy from the left side is throwing 100 with great stuff. But, like how do you – I know Max Scherzer hasn't been great so far through 2 starts. Justin hasn't pitched, but I guess I'll ask you, am I allowed to, assume am I allowed to assume Justin on the Mets if I take the Mets, even though he hasn't pitched?
Yes.
Right, so then it's
He's
the
on
Mets.
the Mets.
2 Hall of Famers that are still pitching really well. Kodai Senga appears to be a star. It has to be the Mets for me, and it's just in this moment, in this year, the Mets rotation is better. I'm not down on Max after 2 bad starts. Justin's coming back soon. So I love the Marlins rotation, and I think in a couple of years we're talking about them having the best rotation in the game of baseball. I'm just not ready to say that right now. I would still put it, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Haven't thought about this. Probably a top five rotation, but I think the Mets are still, despite a tough start to the year, they're still the top or if a top 2-3 rotation in the game of baseball.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, Sandy's picking up right where he left off. Obviously, he's a reigning Cy Young winner, National League Cy Young winner. He just threw his 4th career shutout in just 100 pitches, which was absolutely insane. But would you put the Marlins above the Braves?
Above the Braves rotation?
Would you do that?
I would say they're very. Oh,
yeah,
man,
that's tough, right? We were just talking last show about the Braves pitching staff and rotation and just how strong they are and how bright of a
the NL East
future they
rotations
have.
are.
Nasty.
I would say they're right there with each other, and I know
Okay.
that might be a cop-out answer, but they both have I guess you have to take Sandy over Spencer Strider right now. I mean, just the other day we saw him throw 100 pitch complete game shutout in an hour and 57 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, as of this moment right now, Sandy Alcantara is the best pitcher in the game of baseball.
Yeah.
So they got the workhorse ace. I love Strider and Fried and Dodd, the Dodd father, as I called him last show, so I'm just going to continue it on.
I like it.
So yeah,
See if
they're
it
right
sticks.
there neck and neck. I would take the Mets here.
Okay. Our third and final making a statement. The pitch clock is the best thing to happen to Major League Baseball.
Ever?
Right now.
What?
Recently.
Oh,
Best thing
yeah.
recently to happen to Major League Baseball. That's our statement.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say inaccurate.
Oof.
I like it, but I'm gonna say Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Julio Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna. Like the guys that play the game are the best thing happening to baseball right now. The pitch clock has been good and will continue to grow and evolve the game in a positive direction. But the best thing happening to baseball right now is the greatest talent we've ever seen, Shohei Ohtani, and one of the best rookies we've seen all time, Julio Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna on pace for a 40-40 year, Aaron Judge breaking the AL home run record and starting off this year great. The product on the field is the best thing happening to the game of baseball. So I'll say inaccurate.
I think the pitch clock is the greatest thing to happen to this sport rule-wise. Like I wasn't thinking players. I'm like, yeah, this is the best thing to happen. We are seeing
Rule you just added in a
well, that's where my mind went. I was like, yeah, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. We are seeing an average game length of 2 hours and 38 minutes, which I think we had the graphic up earlier of like what the shortest game was, what the game lengths were last year. It is speeding up the game in a pace-wise. I think it's making games more exciting to watch. It's moving them along. Oh, yeah. In 2022, 3 hours and 11 minutes. 2023, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And this is just in the first week. I also, John Smoltz went on the Carton Show. And he actually said, I quote, "This is the greatest thing that's going to happen to the sport." He's one of your favies. One of your favies also agrees with this. I think it is. I wasn't thinking players. Obviously, players are like what changed the game. But this is what's, I think in the long run, it's going to be better for the fan base, the TV side of things, when you're there, the pace of game, making things more exciting. I'm a huge fan of the pitch clock.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
But you just totally changed the question.
I guess we looked at it in two different ways.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing happening to baseball is the best players playing in the sport right now and growing the sport. And then you go to answer the question and just add in, well, it's the greatest rule. That's
the greatest adjustment
question
to the game. Yeah. Okay.
No, I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. Okay. So I went inaccurate on. Is that all of them?
Yeah.
All right. Inaccurate for me. All those statements. Alex, you're wrong. I'm just kidding.
No.
But yeah, I went all inaccurate.
All right.
But I like the questions.
They are. They're good.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to one up, one down. Now, this can be a team. This can be a player that you see moving up, and a team or a player that you see moving down. So let's start with your ups.
Yes.
Who you got?
My one up is the Tampa Bay Rays. They were the longest undefeated team in the game of baseball, right? I believe they were off Thursday. So heading into Friday, they're the only undefeated team in the game of baseball. They're the first team to open the season winning their first 6 games by 4 or more runs since the 1884 St. Louis Maroons. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Their pitching has been lights out. McClanahan, 12 innings, 1.5 ERA. Zach Eflin, who got their largest free agent deal in franchise history, 5 innings, only 1 earned run in his 1 start. Jeffrey Springs made his debut and got 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, no hits in his season debut. Drew Rasmussen has been great, 6 innings, 7 Ks, no earned runs. The rotation has been like historically good. And then Wander Franco doing what he's been doing. He came up as the top prospect in the game of baseball, and I don't want to say has been underwhelming, but has been a good baseball player when you'd expect greatness, and we are getting greatness this year. 417, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He's the centerpiece of that lineup, him and Randy Arozarena, but Wander is the guy that needs to be the guy for this team, and he has been. So historically good start to the year. My one up is the Tampa Bay Rays. What's yours? The pitch clock?
No. My one up is the Angels.
Yep,
All right. They
good.
have a 4-2 start to the season. They are currently tied for first in the AL West with Texas, who I think are the 2 most impressive teams out of that division right now. Ohtani just picked up his first win of the season, looked great on the mound in both of his outings. We have Trout and Ohtani already going back-to-back with home runs in the first week. And the team they put together this offseason we're seeing is clicking on the field. I got hope. I got a lot of hope here. I've had hope for 10 years for the Angels.
You
but
got
this
hope,
one,
and you got
Hoppy. Yeah, we do.
The guy, I said this the other, I mean, it was largely joking. The guy has played in like a handful of big league games, but he hit a homer, and I said, the greatest Angels catcher of all time just homered. And he might be when all is said and done.
We'll see.
This guy's been great. Angels have been very good.
Yeah.
I had them as a playoff team prediction to start the year, and I feel good about the start, but they did this last year. Started off really good, had people believing, and then they can't go through that stretch that they went through last year. I think it was 14 losses in a row. And then but I believe in the pitching so much more this year that I don't want to say this and jinx them. I don't think this team is capable of losing 14 games in a row again. So, we'll see. But yeah, that's good.
All right, now we're moving to our one down. Ben, who is your down?
You know, I had a couple of options here that I wanted to go with. One being the Red Sox, and I ended up not going with them because I didn't really believe in them to start the year. But man, has it been bad for the Red Sox. They got swept at home in Fenway by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Not good. My one down team actually is the Phillies.
Yeah.
The Phillies were in the World Series last year, as we all know. The Phillies added Trey Turner. Their offense is going to be insane this year, but they are just the 7th team in baseball history to start 0-4 after going to the World Series. The first in 38 years to do that. I saw this tweet the other day. It said, "Be careful out there, everyone." There's a picture of broken car window. "Be careful, everyone. I had 2 Phillies home opener tickets in my car, and someone broke in and left 4 more." Things aren't good there
I
in
believe
Philly.
that in Philly.
So, yeah, the offense is supposed to be one of the best in baseball. It hasn't been great, but their pitching has just really been bad. Listen to this. Team ERA leaders through 1 week. At number 1, you have the Twins, 1.90. At number 2, you have the Rays, 2.00. At number 3, you have the Dodgers. 4, you have the Yankees. 5, you have the Braves. At number 30, dead last, you have the Phillies with a 6.98 team ERA. That's not good. 0-4 start was tied for their second worst start in franchise history behind the 1934 0-7 team. They allowed 27 runs in a 2-game stretch. It just happened to be the first 2 of the year. That's the worst 2-game stretch in their team history, and they allowed 37 runs through their first 4 games. That's their 3rd most through the first 4 games of a season in their franchise history. It hasn't been bad for the Phillies. It's been brutal. Now they finally get to head home and maybe can figure it out. I'm not pressing the panic button on this team that I do believe will be good, but I said this a couple days ago, Alex. This team might lead the league in runs scored and lead the league in runs given up, and they're trending in that direction for sure.
But you also have to remember they got hit with some devastating injuries. Obviously, we know Bryce Harper isn't going to be back till mid-season, but then Hoskins torn ACL, Marsh got pulled from the game with a mild ankle sprain, Derek Hall thumb sprain. Pitching side, Suarez out with forearm tenderness, Sanchez with tricep tightness, Nelson left hamstring, Song back tightness. So they're literally getting hit in every direction on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And it's tough because, they were an off-season favorite with the addition of Trey Turner to do well, obviously coming off of a World Series appearance.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a World Series hangover.
Yeah, like one of the craziest we've seen. But I don't want to say, like, yes, you are right. Injuries have played a factor here. But with a team with the lineup that they have, right, with Schwarber and Trey Turner and Real Muto and Alec Boehm playing well and Castellanos, like the stars in this lineup are absurd.
Yeah.
And at the top of the rotation with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, to start the year 0-4 and to only have 1 win to this point, it's
brutal,
bad. And I'm not going to blame injuries for it. Injuries have hurt them, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if I know. I'm not gonna just say like injuries are the reason for this because it's been, and I know that's not what you were saying by any means. Mm-hmm. Injuries have hurt them, but this has been bad.
Yeah,
it's been really bad, and they need to figure it out because their team, as we see on the field, the team that we see right now should not be playing as poorly as they are.
My down.
Yeah.
It might be the only time during the year I'm able to say this. My down is the Astros. Right now. Okay. Now, we heard Dusty Baker asked about the start of the season, and he said, right now, not much is going good for us. Not much at all. And I think it's rare. They had a three-game losing streak that they broke on Wednesday, so we saw a little bit of a turnaround.
With the Tigers and 2 of those.
Yeah.
I love my Tigers.
But like you shouldn't be losing as like the World Series champs who just got better this year. So, yeah, my down are the Astros.
I really think they're lacking right now they do have leaders on that team. Bregman is certainly a leader. They have leadership, but I think you look at last year's team, the two biggest leaders were probably Justin and Altuve.
Yeah.
Throw Bregman still in that category. I know he's a leader on that team. But now Justin's not there. Altuve's out for a couple of months. I don't know if he's in the locker room. He's certainly not on the road.
Yeah.
So I think they're missing that, like, and Lance McCullers as well, who's the leader of that team, and he's not there. He's out as well. So the talent is still there. It's still very early. As you said, this will probably be the only time you have them here. But yeah, a sluggish start to the year, and I do think they're missing some of those leaders in the locker room that were able to kind of, Justin's tenure in Houston was arguably the greatest tenure for a pitcher in Houston in their franchise history. That's how good it was. But one thing that he really prided himself on and was really good about was his starts after a team loss. His record in ERA after a team loss was like the greatest of all time. And that's telling you something, like you need that guy that's like, hey, we just lost. I got us. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to pitch deep into the game for our bullpen. I'm going to get a win, and I'm going to put us in a position to snap out of this funk. He's gone. Altuve out. McCullers out. They're just in a little. They're in a little bit of a tough spot right now.
But what we're saying, you said this with your Phillies, we're not letting injuries be the excuse. You still have a lot of great players on that team that are World Series champions.
Oh, they should not be losing 2 of 3 to the Detroit Tigers. No. Absolutely not. I don't care about, I don't care at the end of the day. Like, this might matter in the long stretch and might matter that they're not able to turn a corner right now, but a team with Jordan and Bregman and Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena, you shouldn't be losing 2 of 3 to the Tigers. Alas, it is just one series. Again, as with the Phillies, I don't think anybody's really pushing the panic button there, but I do agree with you. They're a one down. That's fair. And as of right now, heading into the weekend, I don't think they're going to be in the top spot in my power rankings, but we'll see.
We'll see. All right, time for a new segment.
I'm excited.
Things that make you go, So things that we saw this week in baseball. Let's just get right to it.
I can't sit here right now and tell you what this segment is going to look like all year long because I don't know throughout a year. It might be a player, it might be a team, it might be a situation. I don't know. I'm often sitting on my couch going, And now we have a way to communicate that. Things that make me go, First off, let's start with Oli Marmol, manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, calling out Tyler O'Neill for his base running. This was an interesting one because Tyler O'Neill can be one of the faster players in the game of baseball, and it certainly didn't look like he was running his absolute hardest. But after the game, Tyler O'Neill was called out publicly by his own manager to the media, and Tyler O'Neill didn't love that. He said, I play hard. This is paraphrasing. He said a lot more about this, but he basically said, I play hard. I've always played the game very hard. These conversations could have happened in the clubhouse. And there was more to this. Oli Marmol went on again to say, the manager of the Cardinals again said publicly, there's a standard here. You meet it, you play, you don't, you don't. I just can't get on board with a manager publicly calling out a player, especially a first offense, it's early in the year. If we see over and over and over a player not hustling, a star player not hustling, and you've called him into your office and you've talked about it, great. Say publicly, hey, the reason so-and-so isn't playing in this game today and won't play tomorrow is because I have talked to him endless amounts of times, and he will not get it through his head that he needs to hustle and he needs to play the game the right way. Just wanted to make that clear to everyone. That's why this is happening. For Oli Marmol to call him out publicly this early in the year, I hate it. I'm so against this for so many reasons. Call him into your office and say whatever you want. Yell at him. Scream at him. Talk to him calmly. Say what you need to say, but do it in the privacy of your own office instead of publicly airing this out and making your player frustrated as he should be. This one left me scratching my head for sure.
I think it is a terrible look for either a teammate to call out a manager or a manager to publicly call out a teammate. this is something, if you have an issue with, you have a conversation. As you mentioned, this is a behind closed doors thing that then if it gets to a point where that's not working, okay, then maybe you say something publicly. But to double down twice, you're ruining a relationship here in the first week of the season. He's going to hold a grudge. This is not a good look. It's not good energy for the dugout and the clubhouse. This is not going to make anything better, right?
Yeah.
You want to try to make someone better. You want to motivate someone. This is not going to make it better at all.
I tend to agree with Tyler O'Neill here. I would disagree with him. I don't think he was running 100% that play. But
Yeah.
where I do agree with Tyler O'Neill is like, what are you
talk to me.
doing here? Like, come talk to me. Call me in the office.
Yeah.
Say you got to be better. I'm either I'll start you tomorrow, but be better, or you're not gonna play tomorrow.
Yeah.
And here's why. And I'm not gonna nobody needs to know that, but here's why. For this to happen this early in the season, it really is. It's a head scratcher for me.
It feels like public gossip is what it feels like. And that's not what you want to do. You want to be a tight-knit family who can trust and like lean on each other and not have to freak out about
Absolutely.
that. Okay, our next things that make you go, a wild tweet from the Cleveland Guardians, Ben.
Alex, today's date is April 6th.
Yes.
And I'm ready to call it. The winner of the wildest tweet from a team-run social media account goes to the Cleveland Guardians. I was scrolling through Twitter and could not believe what I was reading. And let's pop this tweet up. This will be the wildest tweet from the team this year. Do we have it? I think we have the tweet.
Yeah, we should have.
Here it is. Okay. As a 13-year-old, Jose Ramirez played in a gambling league with adults to earn money for his family. In certain circumstances, bettors would gamble on a player to have a positive outcome. If they didn't come through, they would be chased home by gamblers with machetes and guns.
What?
What?
Like, I'm just, visualizing this situation. 2, players have literally been suspended from leagues for gambling, which also is a little weird to me. The whole situation just kind of makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, I don't even really, like, that's why it makes me go, I don't even really know what to say about it. Like, the gambling thing, he was 13 years old, so obviously, like, who cares? But for the team to talk about, a little bit of clarity here.
Okay.
Maybe, from what I heard, this was in reference to, like, the Guardians are going to be airing, like, a docu-series on Jose Ramirez, and this is going to be part of it. So they were, like, advertising for it. But just for the team's social media account, to scroll through my timeline and see the Cleveland Guardians tweeting about Jose Ramirez being chased with machetes and guns is, like, it's alarming. And one, it's alarming for, like, that he went through that in his life and that he was doing this to make money for his family. Mind-blowing. But for the team account to say it, I was just like, what is going on here? Yeah, it was
wild. I'm with you. This might be the most wild tweet.
There won't be
of
another.
The season.
There won't be a crazier one. There's no way.
All right. Number 3, things that make you go, The pitch clock.
Yeah.
Some players love it. Some players don't.
There's been a lot of
confusion.
One way or another, right? There's been a lot of talk about it. And we've gotten a lot of interesting moments, which we'll talk about one in a second. But first up, let's listen into Dylan Cease was on the show just Wednesday. Let's listen into what he had to say about the pitch clock because I thought it was very interesting. Here he is.
Yeah, I was pretty apprehensive about it when I first learned that they were doing it. But so far I've liked it. I think it keeps the game flowing really nicely. And I think it just keeps action going more consistently, which is great. So I do think it's probably more of an advantage for pitchers than hitters, but I don't know if it's really even necessarily a big advantage for us. It's all just something that we all have to be aware of.
Yeah.
So, I think it's making the product flow better, which is obviously good for the game in general. So it's definitely getting my approval so far.
First off, Dylan Cease came on the show on Wednesday. he was the guest on Wednesday. He pitched on Wednesday. So for those confused, recorded it the day before. Okay, he didn't come on the day it was pitched. He was Wednesday's episode, and he absolutely shoved on Wednesday as well. So happy to say the Flippin Bats pod luck is still very, very real. But to hear him talk about the pitch clock like that, to say I was apprehensive about it, and now I love it. And he even said, I feel like I have too much time at one point. Really cool to hear him say that, and glad the players are starting to feel that way. And we did get the moment that made me go, was Shohei Ohtani pitching, getting a violation, as well as hitting, getting a violation. So leave it to Shohei, the first ever player in the history of baseball to receive a pitch clock violation on the mound and a pitch clock violation at the plate as well.
It only seems fitting, right? Because he is our two-way player, and he's doing things we've never seen before, and we had never seen someone get it both on the mound and at the plate. So I'm like, it would be Shohei.
I do think, remember, Shohei, along with Team USA, they're the two teams that played in the WBC the longest. So where these players were getting used to pitching and hitting with the clock, especially for pitchers, it makes a huge difference just trying to figure it out. Shohei wasn't doing that. He didn't have that. There was no pitch clock, and he was out there doing his thing as he normally would. So he really hasn't, maybe a start? Maybe he's had 2 to 3 starts tops in his life with a pitch clock. So that might be something to monitor going forward. But getting violations, I promise you, that will help you not have them anymore. But we'll forever be the first. Yeah. I don't think he'll be the only one, because we'll get position players pitching that will definitely have violations at some point. But that was certainly a moment that made me go,
Well, our final moment that makes you go, kind of in the same wheelhouse here. Manny Machado getting thrown out of a game for what we thought was a pitch clock violation.
Yeah. This situation was interesting. So Manny Machado standing at the plate during the game, and the pitch clock is dwindling down. He's still messing with his batting gloves. And what appears to be at the very last second, he just puts his hand up asking for time, but ends up being given a strike violation, and that was a strikeout. It was the third strike, and he ended up arguing and was thrown out. So this whole situation was just very interesting, because it's like, well, did he ask for time and he wasn't granted it? Did he ask for time and was too late? And if you look back at replays, it turns out like if you mesh up the clock, he just asked for time too late, or the umpire wasn't very lenient. Let's say that's the case, and he just didn't give him time, which he doesn't technically have to do if it's that late. So just a very interesting situation. He ends up getting thrown out. My first judgment call here was that the umpire was in the wrong and should have given him time. But seeing some other angles, I realize it probably should have. If you're going to call time, just do it like at 10 seconds instead of waiting for that like fringy 9-8 second mark. Like don't leave it up to the umpire. Just call time. He ends up getting thrown out. So I tweeted about that. And Alex, Major League Baseball actually reached out to me about this.
And what did they say?
This, which I thought was,
that's nice.
They said, saw your tweet, just wanted to clarify an official statement. Our folks believe the call that was on the field was accurate. The ejection related more to the argument and language that was used towards the umpire. Now, if you dig more closely into it, Manny Machado called the umpire a D-bag. That's what he was thrown out for, which makes sense. So, the situation as a whole, these situations were going to happen. Yeah. And I think these situations happening are good to help propel us more and more getting used to this. And now, look, every player saw this. Every player knows about it. Major League Baseball sends out memos to all the teams. They probably say, hey, you call your one timeout. Just do it. Like, don't do it at 8 seconds. Do it before then. But just a situation, and our last situation, that made me go,
I like that segment.
Yeah.
It is weird. The weird things that happen in baseball.
Baseball is a weird sport, and I see things almost every week that are like, I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Yeah.
And
And if we miss something and you guys at home see something that made you go, tweet us, at us. Let's make this like an open, fun, weird conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right. Well, now let's preview the top 3 series to watch this weekend because we got a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Starting with number 3, Astros and Twins.
Yeah, got it. Every Friday episode before the episode ends, we'll just tell you, look, the best series that are coming this weekend.
Yeah.
And Astros and Twins is a great one. Twins off to a blistering start. They look really, really good. Astros, not so much.
Yep.
However, we know the Astros are an elite team in the game of baseball. Now the Twins are facing them, and it's going to be a very, very good test. They get to be, the Twins will be at home for this, so the Twins are the home team facing the reigning defending does not make sense.
Yeah.
The reigning champs, coming into your home. It's going to be a great series for me. Really good pitching. The Twins pitching has been the best team pitching. The team ERA is the best in baseball this far, which is remarkable. So I'm very excited. Astros Twins. That's
also Carlos Correa. That's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, Correa. Correa
he's going.
Astros thing.
So who do you think takes this series?
Oh, I didn't know this was going to be a thing.
It wasn't. I just brought it up to you.
Oh, okay.
Who are you taking? Are you taking? You don't have to. You can hold it. I put you on the spot.
Yeah, put me on the spot.
Don't do it.
Just don't do that.
Don't do that.
I don't know. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's a 3-game series. Anything can happen.
All right.
You
then
know?
I won't.
But if I have a feeling on any
that's
of
all
them,
I want. It's not an official. Like, what's your gut
It
feeling?
sure sounded official. It did.
Make it official.
No, not that one. Next.
Yeah. All right. Second series to watch, Cardinals and Brewers.
Yeah, this is the battle for the NL Central.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the Pirates look good. NL Central's looking good this year, might I add. You got the Reds, Pirates, Cubs. They're all looking good. You got the Brewers coming off of a sweep of the New York Mets, which they looked fantastic. The Cardinals have looked really good at points and really bad at other points. But these are the two best teams that will be there till the end in the NL Central, I believe. And this is going to be a big matchup. It's in Milwaukee. The stadium will be packed for this series. Let's hope they don't do any more flyovers with the roof closed. That should have been in things. Dang it! That should have been in things that make you go,
I wonder, can you hear it?
The Brewers did an
closed?
opening day flyover, and the roof was closed. I would imagine you could hear it
So
because
maybe it's for
those jets are very, very loud. So they could hear it, and everybody tailgating could hear it. But
and the broadcast got the video to put it in the broadcast. It was probably for TV.
Well, you know who couldn't see the broadcast? The people sitting in the stand. Just a funny situation.
It was hilarious.
We'll retroactively. That also made me go home.
Yeah.
This series it's the cream of the crop in the NL Central, and I think this division is going to come down until the last week of the year, and this is the first matchup between these two. I'm excited for this one.
It's going to be fun. Well, now our number one series to watch this weekend. We talked about it yesterday. Braves and Padres. This is going to be a great one.
This is my favorite series of the weekend. I mean, you got star power in the lineup everywhere you look. Obviously, the Padres lineup with their 3-headed monster right now, soon to be a 4-headed monster. You got Machado, Soto, and Bogarts. Tatis coming back soon, but he obviously won't be for this series. Blake Snell, Spencer Strider was the first matchup on Thursday. Now you have great pitching matchups throughout the rest of the series. This series is full of star power.
Yeah.
And these are two of my. I have the Braves winning the National League, but it was between the Braves and Padres for me. These are the two best teams, I think, in the National League. You throw in the Mets in that conversation, though they're not playing well right now. I love these two teams. I'm very excited for this entire weekend. I'll have my feet kicked up watching these two teams duke it out.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one.
Yep. Do you have a winner? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who wins that series? Actually, don't answer that one.
Ouch. Okay, I won't.
Do you have a winner for the Astros Twins series? The one you asked me about?
No, I was just going to go with gut. I'm like a full, first thing that comes to my mind in belly. I'm like, that's what I'm picking.
Okay, that's fair.
That's my betting.
All right. You know what? Before we finish up, little extra innings. When I have an extra innings, we throw it in.
Yeah.
This episode's going to extra innings.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth. Have you heard about this?
Oh,
Not
the
have you
great
heard
Bambino?
about Babe Ruth. Have you heard about the situation I'm going to mention? Babe Ruth's bat just sold for a record $1.85 million. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is this bat was 44.6 ounces. That never happened. People use like 30-ounce bats now. 30, 31 ounces is what's being used. Babe Ruth was using a 44.6-ounce bat, and it just sold for $1.85 million. Now, this bat originally sold for I think it was right around the $400,000 mark. So what changed, do you ask?
Mm-hmm.
There was a picture that surfaced, and they were able to identically match the bat from the picture to the bat. So there is living proof that this bat was not only in the hands of Babe Ruth, but used in a game by Babe Ruth, and the bat just sold for $1.85 million, which is a record.
It feels like fun money at that point. When you hear numbers like that for a piece of wood, but like historic piece of wood with one of the greatest of all times, it's just like mind-blowing to me. Like the memorabilia world is
crazy.
We're seeing baseball cards go for $4 million. Babe Ruth bat almost $2 million. It's cool. If you got it, keep it.
Yeah, if you got it, spend it. You know,
Yep.
Can't take it to the grave with you. Might
I'm
as well
saying keep
send
the
it on a
memorabilia.
Babe Ruth.
Hold on to it because it's only
keep
going
that,
up.
Yeah,
Prices are only
same,
going up.
Same, but different.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for our Friday episode. Enjoy the incredible weekend of baseball that we have coming. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you're following wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple or Spotify. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch every episode on YouTube as well at Flippin Bats Pod for all of them. Fun Friday episode, fun weekend ahead for this episode of Flippin Bats. That does it, and we will see you next time for another episode of Flippin Bats.